Hello, viewers. This short talk is a part of my series of lectures on Riders to the Sea. This powerful one-act tragic play is written by J.M. Synge, an Irish playwright. By now, you're familiar with Irish literature, Celtic culture, Aran Islanders, and J.M. Synge's dramaturgy. This text, Riders to the Sea, is prescribed to 4th semester BCom of Tumkur University. Let me start this talk by posing a gigantic question. How much grief can mankind endure? I repeat, how much grief can mankind endure? Yes, it's too massive a question to be answered in this short talk. For most of the characters, it's the death of their beloved ones that makes them face an inescapable emotional turmoil. But in the context of Moria, it's totally different. Let's try to decipher what makes Moria to acquire universal stature in terms of suffering and unmitigated pain. Brevity in characterization, plot construction, and dialogue is a hallmark of J.M. Synge's dramaturgy. The playwright in this play has ruthlessly avoided creating subplots. He has ruthlessly avoided creating multiplicity of characters. Moria has been lamenting for 9 days and she has been lying down exhausted physically and emotionally. Structural compactness of the play is like the dramatic unities of classical Greek tragedy. Action of the play takes place in a fisherman's cottage in 1 day. Clever use of imageries, clever use of Irish dialects surely intensify the tragedy here. Moria's life records a history of unmitigated pain. By the end of the play, we see how our reconciliation with the inescapability of mortality completes the circle of tragedy. How much grief can mankind endure? This tragic one-act play is set in a time and place where catastrophe strikes regularly. Enduring grief is a part of Aran Islanders' lived experience. This play is set in the treeless, stark landscape of the Aran Islands off the western coast of Ireland. An overwhelming sense of doom haunts us from the very start. Events in the play take place entirely in a single cottage. Two sisters, Kathleen and Nora, hide the news that their brother Michael has washed ashore from their mother Moria. The last surviving son, Bartley, gets ready to catch a fishing vessel. However, Moria fails to persuade him to stay back. No sooner is Michael's death confirmed than Bartley is thrown from his horse into the sea. There, Bartley also drowns and dies. How much grief can mankind? Stoicism is depicted as a virtue in the play. The very word Moria comes from Greek Moira. Moira means fate, destiny. The complex appreciation that the playwright held for nature is evident in the play. Nature is depicted as an inexorable force that envelops and exceeds all life and human comprehensibility. Nature is seen as a cruel master, remorselessly taking life out of the world, leaving the destitute even more impoverished. At the end, Moria laments that she has lost 8 men in her life to the implacable forces of nature. The setting and characters reveal the playwright's interest in present life. and the play offers a glimpse of the hard realities of rural family in Ireland. Details of domestic economy, their livestock trading and fishing, all these are presented with supreme delicate precision. These activities, however specific as they are to these lives, are significant for revealing a broader human condition. All people must struggle against the contingencies of their lives. At the end, death, nature's greatest inevitability. I repeat, death, nature's greatest inevitability, visits everyone. The impulse to depict these people as quaint or noble is suppressed. Instead, the raw realities of their existence are placed squarely before the reader. Stoicism. The harshest realities in the play are shown with a sense of doom. The sisters resist to accept the fact of Michael's death until they examine the paltry remnants recovered from the ocean. Both Moria and the audience know that he is dead. When confirmation arrives, it comes as no surprise. Similarly, Moria fears for Bartley, and when returning from seeing him off, she narrates a sinister vision. As Bartley rides off on a white mare trailing a grey pony, Moria spies Michael's ghost astride the second horse. She is convinced that it is an evil omen. There are 4 moments that prepare us for the final cataclysm in the play. The first one, the moment when Moria anticipates the death of Michael. Second moment is when Moria tries to prevent Bartley's journey. Third is the moment when Moria conquers suffering by the selfish thought that she will have to weep no more. And finally, her words, "No man at all can be living forever, and we must be satisfied," elevate the play to universal status with colossal appeal. This ultimate moment of stoic solace that is achieved by Moria is also a reconciliation with the inescapability of mortality. Let's attempt a critical analysis of this tragedy. J.M. Synge's view of religion is subtly at play in this play. Nora tells Kathleen of the consolation that a young priest has offered, but in Synge's world, God is either a phantom of the imagination or a force absent from the lives of humans. Moria's life records a history of unmitigated pain. In fact, the play achieves tremendous success in sustaining the unrelieved pathos by intensely focusing on tragic events. In spite of all Moria's prayers, the well-meaning words of the priest, the sprinkling of holy water, divinity does not prevail over the several inevitabilities of nature. Religion offers no hope. It can only provide cold comfort against the numbing pain of existence.
They're all gone now. And there isn't anything more the sea can do to me. I'll have no call now to be off crying and praying, and the wind breaks from the south. And you can hear the sources in the east and the sources in the west. And I won't care what way the sea is, but the other women will be keen.
As we come towards the fag end of the play, shall we take self-assessment cues here? First, examine dialogues. How does Aran Island dialect contribute to the portrayal of characters? Second, interpret the mood. Observe how the setting of the play contribute to overall ominous, disappointing, depressing atmosphere. Third, understand the cultural context. Observe the socio-cultural features of Heron Island fishing community. At the end, can you give an alternative ending to the play? I am greatly indebted to these sources, without which I couldn't have prepared this short presentation on Riders to the Sea.